In the heart of Iran, a storm is brewing. The winds of change are stirring, whipped up by the whispers of a dissatisfied populace. The air is heavy with the scent of transformation, a transformation fueled by the aspirations of the Iranian people and their yearning for a new dawn. The bustling streets of Tehran tell a tale of a nation on the brink of metamorphosis. The silent echoes of discontent reverberate through the cityscape, giving voice to the unvoiced concerns of the many. The undercurrents of tension grow stronger, the clouds of unrest thicken. As the day draws to a close, the city's rhythm beats a little faster, a little louder. The temperature drops, but the pulse of the city rises. An electric anticipation fills the air, a sense of foreboding that is both thrilling and alarming. As the sun sets, the storm is about to break. The Mahsa movement, a beacon of hope, now stands at a crossroads. This movement, named after the Persian word for like the moon, signifies the aspiration for a peaceful transformation within Iran. Comprised of diverse individuals unified by a shared vision, the Mahsa movement uses nonviolent resistance as its primary tool. Its goals? To foster dialogue, promote human rights, and champion the power of peaceful protest. But it's a challenging path. The Mahsa movement grapples with the threat of government suppression, the fear of public rebuke, and the ever-looming shadow of potential violence. Yet, despite these obstacles, they persevere, committed to their cause and to the principles of nonviolence. They believe in the power of collective action and the potential for peaceful change. But the winds of change are blowing and they carry a scent of violence. Will the Mahsa movement stay its course, or will it be swept away in the brewing storm? History tells us that the shift from nonviolence to violence is not a new phenomenon. This transition often comes about when the voices of peace are drowned out by the cries for justice, when the winds of change turn into a storm of rage. We've seen this happen time and again in the civil rights movement, where peaceful protests gave way to riots, in the Indian independence movement, where nonviolent resistance was eventually replaced with armed rebellion, and in the Arab Spring, where peaceful demonstrations led to violent upheavals. These movements started with a vision of peaceful change, but when faced with repression, the vision blurred, and the lines between right and wrong became increasingly indistinct. And as history repeats itself, the question arises, will the Mahsa movement follow the same path? Repression, frustration, and radical influences can fan the flames of violence. Picture a society where the government's iron grip chokes the voices of its people. The public's frustration is simmering, a pot about to boil over. Their dreams of a peaceful future are being stifled, their hopes smothered under the weight of oppressive laws and restrictions. Now consider the radical elements, lurking in the shadows. They feed off this frustration, this despair. They twist it, mold it into a weapon of chaos and destruction. Their whispers creep through the crowd, sowing seeds of dissent, of anger, of violence. Together, these forces create a volatile mix, a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. They are the unseen hands pushing the Mahsa movement, a beacon of hope towards a dangerous precipice. The question remains, will the movement succumb to the lure of violence, or will it stand firm in its commitment to peaceful protest? These forces are pushing the Mahsa movement towards a dangerous precipice. A red siren signifies a social explosion, and chaos ensues. The calm rhythm of everyday life is shattered as the streets fill with a frenzied energy. Voices, once harmonious, now clash in a cacophony of dissent. The air, thick with tension, bears witness to a society on the brink of upheaval. The shift from peaceful protest to violence is not sudden, but rather a slow burn, ignited by suppressed frustrations and radical influences. The tranquility of the city is replaced by scenes of chaos and disorder. The once vibrant marketplaces now stand as battlegrounds, their silence broken only by the echo of conflict. In the midst of this turmoil, the Mahsa movement finds itself at a crossroads. The decision they face is not simple: to continue their peaceful struggle in the face of increasing violence, or adapt to the changing landscape. In the face of such turmoil, the Mahsa movement is forced to make a choice. Dark forces capitalize on the chaos, spilling the blood of the innocent. In the turbulence of societal upheaval, there are those who seize the opportunity to further their own destructive agendas. These radical elements, hidden in the shadows, exploit the chaos, using it as a veil to commit acts of violence and spread fear. Their actions are not born from a desire for change or justice, but rather from a dark hunger for power and control. They are the puppeteers behind the scenes, pulling the strings that lead to further bloodshed and discord. Yet their presence is a reminder of the complexities and challenges that face any movement for change. It's not simply about battling external forces of oppression, but also about addressing the internal threats that can fracture a movement from within. As the darkness spreads, a ray of hope emerges. Only enlightened groups understand the importance of nonviolence. This statement rings true as we delve into the heart of the matter. There exist those who, amidst the chaos and the clamor, steadfastly advocate for peace. They do not just protest against the status quo. They present alternatives, they negotiate, they compromise. They understand that violence begets violence and that a lasting change can only be wrought through understanding and cooperation. These enlightened groups are the voices of reason in the cacophony of discontent. They are the negotiators in the battleground of ideologies. They are the advocates of dialogue in the face of confrontation. They do not just resist, they propose. They do not just dissent, they discuss. They do not just demand, they deliberate. Their struggle is not just about their cause, but about the way they fight for it. Their struggle is a beacon of hope in the midst of the storm. To understand the situation in Iran, an academic exploration begins. In the bustling halls of academia and the silent corners of libraries, scholars embark on a journey. They delve into dusty archives, digital databases, and historical texts, seeking to unravel the intricacies of Iran's protest movement. Their research takes them back in time, through the pages of history, where they uncover examples of peaceful protests turning violent. They study the dynamics of these movements, the forces at play, and the tipping points that sparked chaos. They engage in vigorous debates, challenging each other's perspectives and deepening their understanding. They dissect the role of suppression, frustration, and radical elements in fanning the flames of violence. Their discoveries shed light on the thin line between hope and despair in Iran's quest for change. The academic exploration, though painstaking, is pivotal in comprehending the complexities of a nation on the brink of transformation.